In 2016, the United Nations raised an alarm that about 70% of estimated 500 million of illicit weapons in circulation in West Africa is domiciled in Nigeria. By 2017, the Presidential Committee on Small Arms, PRESCOM, released figures indicating that over 690 million illicit small arms and light weapons in the world, out of which 100 million can be traced to sub-Saharan Africa and over 8 million in West Africa.
Reporters stay a distance and let the man have some.
As if to clear doubt on the authenticity of these figures, the security agencies have been busy and they have cache of illicit arms seized at different points in the country to show for it. In 2010, the Department of State Services officers intercepted 13 containers of weapons from Iran. Embedded in the consignments were rocket launchers, grenades and other explosives labeled as building materials. In 2013, the Joint Task Force officers uncovered weapons linked to a Lebanese Hezbollah terror cell in Kano State. The bunker contained 17 AK-47 rifles, 44 magazines, 4 landmines, 12 RP bombs, among others. In January 2017, roving Federal Operations Unit Customs officers intercepted 661 pump-action rifles concealed in steel doors and boxes in a 40-foot container along Mile 12 Apapa Road in Lagos. The consignment was shipped from China. In May, the customs once again discovered a concealed 20-foot container containing 440 arms and ammunition of various sizes and designs manufactured in the United States of America and Italy.
The government decided to prohibit the licensing of pump action and therefore put it under absolute prohibition. So the importation and transaction of pump action is completely, totally against the laws of this great nation. Such deadly contravention of the law is even more unacceptable, and considering the fragile security situation in some parts of the country. Our investigation already commenced, and I have directed that the drag net should be wide open to fish out all persons involved in the importation and clearing of this consignment. Already the officers involved in the clearance of this container are with the controller FOU under detention.
The latest was on September the 6th, 2017. Operatives of the Tinkan Island Command of the Nigeria Customs Service smashed a syndicate that specialized in smuggling weapons into the country, discovering 1,100 pump-action rifles loaded in a 20-foot container. The weapons were discovered to have been brought in from Turkey and were concealed inside the container with the bill of lading indicating that it was conveying wash-hand basins. The Controller General of Customs, Colonel Hamid Ali, who braced the reins for the parade of the weapons, says the manner through which the arms were concealed shows the intended use can only be negative.
Unlisted container had already been cut and padlocked. This is what we call a custom cut and lock. What it means is that somebody cut the seal, because most of you who are marine media reporters, you know what we mean by seal. There's a difference between seal and padlock. It is after examination that you now replace the seal with the padlock. So the only time you cut the seal is when it is now positioned for examination. But this container, this very container, the seal was even cut and replaced with a padlock before the examination, which means that there's something wrong that went wrong from the beginning. The container became suspect and had to be immediately transferred to the enforcement unit, and that's why it's here this morning today. The bill of lading firstly indicates the content to be wash hand basins, which I'm sure you've seen them in the if you remember, the 661 rifles were also concealed under steel doors. So there's always something that is used to conceal the actual content of the containers. I'm sure there were 440 containers also. Those ones were also concealed under the name of POPs. So they will bring in this, but underneath squeeze all these weapons. They are not meant for decoration. They are not meant for games. These are purely weapons meant to take people's lives. And I just can't imagine that we have still Nigerians who believe that they can strive on blood money. Well, this is blood money. There's no doubt. These are the ones that are used for kidnapping. These are the ones that are used for robbery. And of course, these are the ones that are used by insurgents as well. So in all these activities, it is meant to take somebody's life. And I just can't imagine that somebody believes that this is the only way he can make a living. If you remember the last time we met, we also talked about steps that were taken. In this case, I think we are going beyond fishing out the importer, fishing out our own officers who, for one reason or the other, they found to have connived, but we're also going to go after the shippers, because it is a known global shipping process that there's no way you can take on board your ship a container that you do not know the content. What we see in the bill of lading is that it's always said to contain. There's no way, if I decide to bring bombs and put them on the ship, there's no way they can carry it. If I decide to bring explosives and put them on the ship, they will not carry it. But when they agree to now bring in weapons like this, and when they are costed, the answer is that, well, it's said to be contained. So, but from now on, thanks to the law, we will effect the law as it is. All shippers, all ships that brings in such goods, if they are on our port before we discover this, if we discover this while they are in, we will detain them, because that's what the law says. If not, we will block them from our system completely. Which means they cannot do business with us until they become compliant.
Stop me now.
Take one now.
Thank you. The Controller General of Customs, Hamid Ali, is saying that henceforth,